Yeah, sorry about that. Getting started just a minute late. My coworker and co-host Janie is having a hard time accessing Zoom. So I was just trying to um, answer her questions and try to see how we can get her in. So hopefully she'll be joining in just a minute. And I did see someone raise their hand. So, on a webinar, you don't have the opportunity to speak. But if you have any questions or thoughts, please drop those in the chat. If you were just reminding me it was after 4:30, then I thank you. But again, thank you so much for joining. We're really excited about this evening and the topic. Um, we have some wonderful educators from around Virginia that are going to share some of their favorite strategies and their favorite resources that they have used to review. So that's always great. The more people we can hear from, the better. And so I hope that you find this beneficial. I know for a lot of people, we might already be in SOL season. We're probably already starting our review or about to. So hopefully these are strategies or resources that you can use and get started with right away, something that you can take away from tonight and apply it to what's happening in your classroom. So you can see here that we ask, if you haven't already done so, if you would like to introduce yourself in the chat and let us know what district you're joining from and maybe what grade level or subject area you teach. That can always be helpful for us. We do have representation from elementary and secondary today, but it always is helpful as we're thinking about strategies and resources to know specifically what's going to be the most relevant to you. So again, if you could drop that in the chat, that would be great. So we will start by introducing ourselves. You can see that there are quite a few of us here, but again, what's great about that is, the more resources that you can hear about, the better. And Janie, oh, sorry, my co-host just joined, so let me make sure that you can hear her speak. Apologies. All right, Janie, you should be good to go. And we are missing Toymika, if you're on and joined under a different name, maybe send me a message because I'm not seeing you. So we might have to skip her slides, but hopefully she'll join us. But I will start with the introductions. My name is Lindsey. I am the manager of eMediaVA, which is a free digital media content library for K through 12 educators in Virginia. So my job mostly revolves around all things eMediaVA. And before joining WHRO, I was a high school social studies teacher in Newport News Public Schools. I saw we have another high school social studies teacher from NNPS, which is awesome. And Janie, I'll let her go next. Both of us work at WHRO. So we are the NPR PBS affiliate for Southeastern Virginia. So we're based in Norfolk. That's what I said in the chat, that there's quite a lot of Hampton Roads representation, which is awesome and always great to see. But what's unique about us is we are the only public media station in the country that is owned by a consortium of school divisions. So our station is owned by the 21 school divisions of Southeastern Virginia. So we work closely with educators. We do have a lot of services for educators, one of which is eMediaVA, but of course, ongoing professional development such as this one. So I always like to share that because it's something that's really cool and something I didn't really understand when I was in the classroom. So I will stop talking and hand it over to Janie to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janie Everett. I'm the Educational Technology Manager at WHRO Public Media. I do a lot of professional development. If you've joined us before, you've probably seen me. So hello, hello. Like I said, mostly do professional development, but a lot of technology-related instructional items at the station as well. Before coming to the station, I was an elementary teacher and an instructional technology specialist as well. So thank you. Tammy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Tammy Byram. I am the librarian at Cortland High School in Spotsylvania County. And in a former life, I was also a high school social studies teacher. But I'm happy to be here. I am an eMedia ambassador. So just trying to figure out and share some ways that people can use eMedia in their classrooms or even in their libraries.
Thanks, Tammy. And Aubrey, if you would like to introduce yourself.
My name is Aubrey Mitchell. I'm also work in the library at a middle school. Before this, I was a history teacher, a civics teacher, a math teacher, and I did library in elementary for a little bit just to get in the library. But yeah, so I've done a whole lot of things, and some of the things that we're going to do today, I try to let the teachers give me, you know, tell me what they need so that we can find stuff to do using the library space and the library time, not just, you know, dealing with books all the time.
Thanks, Aubrey. I always forget that so many of you are former social studies teachers. A lot of representation there. And again, Toymika unfortunately hasn't joined yet. I'm hoping that she still will join because she is our elementary teacher. She's in Newport News Public Schools. She has experience working with the special ed students and also teaching in a completely online and virtual environment for Newport News's virtual school. And she has a lot of great resources. So hopefully she'll be able to join at some point, but if not, all of her resources are linked in the slide deck. So you will still have access to those. So big concepts for our time together today. We will discuss effective strategies for designing review activities. So as we go through, we all have some strategies that we will share, some tips and tricks from being in the classroom or as a librarian supporting teachers. And we will look at explore hands-on resources to really engage students in the review process, including AI. We'll look at some different types, but also high-low tech, because obviously it's great to have a range of options as we're working with our students. And then we will make some reference throughout to some of the different resources we have in eMediaVA that we just want to make sure you're aware of. That could also be good to use for review, really pre-K through 12, no matter what content you're looking to review. We hope to have something that will work. So we would love to hear from you guys. So we have a couple of questions using Slido.com. So we would love to know, how do you usually help your students prep for SOL testing? Again, the more sites, the more strategies we have, the better. So if we can hear from all of you that are joining, that would be wonderful. So you can, if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer and want to use your phone, it's really easy. If you scan that QR code, it will open here, or you can join at Slido.com and enter that code. So we will give you guys a minute to do that, but we would love to know, and it's completely anonymous, what's your favorite strategy? What's your favorite site that you use to review? So we have a nice collection going. And thank you, Janie. Yes, we usually have this on a slide, but we didn't this time. We have a slide deck that we will share with you. We have the QR code at the end, but we will also email everything out to you tomorrow. And then all the resources that we're going to talk about, are also linked for you in the slide deck. So don't feel like you have to take copious amounts of notes or anything. Everything is linked for you. Okay, so we have some answers rolling in here. So gamification resources like Bookit are awesome. I never use Bookit in the classroom. I've been out of the classroom too long, I think, but Janie presents on Bookit a lot when we talk about ed tech tools. So I feel like I know it. Yes, Kimberly, to your question, yes, we will share it via QR code, but then also we will email it to whatever email you use to register. So everyone will have no problem accessing all the resources we're going to look at tonight. YouTube videos, release practice tests. Yes, so that's going to come up tonight. I'm looking at those practice tests. Any resource you can send home for parents to use. Yes. Book creator, to have students create review notebooks. So I like that. Instead of you doing all the work, have students create some review strategies and resources. Okay, great. So of course, packets, I did World 1 and 2. We always had our packets that we use throughout. Practice at SOL Pass. I think Janie's about to talk a little bit about SOL Pass. Lumio, Edpuzzle, iExcel. Yes, great resources. Looks like a couple more people are typing and then we'll move on. But thank you for sharing. And then as I mentioned, we have another question at the end using Slido. So you can leave this up just to make it a little easier. So anything else that you'd like to share? Okay. Oop, sorry, I saw another one come in. I taught third grade in Florida. You like games like Jeopardy and Candy Trivia. Ooh, that sounds fun and tasty. So thank you so much. So I'm going to hand it over to Janie. She's going to talk just quickly, review tips and websites, and then we will hand it over to our eMediaVA ambassadors to talk some of their favorite strategies and resources as well.
All right, thank you, thank you. Give me 1 second here. Zoom must have had a big update today because things are different. All right. Maybe.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Well, do you do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave it like this because it does not seem to want to go to full screen version at the moment. So that's okay, we'll adjust. So, like Lindsay said, quick tips for designing a review activity for your kids, things to keep in mind so that we're keeping them engaged and interested and, not seeing snores and snoozes as we're preparing for SOLs. I know this is not always the most exciting time of the year for teachers or for students, but there are ways that we can improve that, right? So first, base your reviews on data telling you where your students are at. So if your students have really, really mastered something and they're getting it, no need to spend a ton of time reviewing that. Move on to the things from your informative assessments that you see your kiddos actually need some additional help with. We don't want them to become bored with things that they have already mastered. Make sure you're using activities that are self-checking. Let your students have some voice and some choice. Let them choose the types of reviews that they want to do. Let them suggest some fun activities for the classroom for SOL review, so they don't just feel like they're doing the same thing over and over. And definitely let them, get into some small groups, some partners, do some work with other kiddos in the classroom so they're not just working by themselves as they prepare for weeks and weeks at a time. And of course, incorporate some movement, get your kiddos up and moving around as much as possible. If you have kiddos interested in music, maybe put in a music component or, PE, go outside with them. Find ways to get those SOLs into some other fun and physical activities, not just staring at screens or papers all day. But you already know that. So let me go along to my next slide. And I'm going to go through these first few very quickly because they're not really the fun ones. I do have a fun one for you, but I kind of just want to show you first where I'm getting my information from. SOL time is overwhelming, especially, I was an elementary teacher. So as a fifth grade teacher, I had to do 4 SOL tests at the end of the year, in 4 different subjects for my kiddos. And you're like, wow, where do I start? So I always started with the VDOE website, of course. I know, boring, but in case you don't know, all of your SOLs are listed right there on the site. I have also provided you the link. You can find your list of SOLs, you can find your curriculum framework, everything you need to know, everything your kids are going to need to know. It's all right here for you. And usually when I'm using other fun sites, gamification sites, AI sites, I always start with my list of SOLs. And I do a lot of copy and pasting and pulling those over into my more fun reviews for my kiddos. Another great one is Jefferson Lab, JLab. If you did not know, you can go in here and get math and science practice tests. And these questions that they provide for you, either 5, 10, 20, or 40, are based on past SOL tests that have been released. So these are really great practice methods for your kids. You can either assign these to your kiddos and they can practice them as a test. Or what I like to do is I like to just go in and grab the questions and then put them into things like Blookit, as I saw someone mention, or quizzes, etc. So take the questions out of the kind of boring setting and put them into something a little more fun. And then somebody else also mentioned SOL Pass. If you don't know about this, it's another really great one. And sorry if it's being slow for you. I promise I did click on the next slide. It's just taking its sweet old time today for whatever reason. So SOL Pass, again, covers all of these different science and social studies, reading and math SOLs with all sorts of, fun activities. There are Jeopardy games in here, crossword puzzles, lesson plans, all sorts of other activities. A really good starting place for you. And of course, I have that linked at the bottom as well, in addition to JLab and the VDOE site. So the last one I'll show you before I turn it over is something that's actually kind of fun and something you've probably heard of as well if you're not already using Magic School. my favorite AI tool. I love Magic School. I use it for everything. I wish I could spend hours showing you how to use the whole entire site, but I'm just going to show you one or two things right now. So first, I'm going to switch tabs here. You'll see me leave my slideshow. So here I have pulled up the 4th grade science standards from the VDOE site. Like I told you, I kind of always start here, and I literally just copied this 4.8 with my cursor, copied it so that I can paste it into some of my Magic School AI tools. Let me get back over here. So to get to Magic School AI, you're just going to go to app.magicschool.ai, or you can do Magic School in Google search, and it will come right up. It's a free login. And if you have not been in Magic School yet, it is a website full of dozens of AI tools. And what's great about these is that they are curated specifically for educators. This is not for any other field, it is for education. There are lesson plan creators and text translators, summarizers, IEP generators, you name it. But a really fun one I like to do is song generator. Back when I was a 1st grade teacher, my class, I only taught 1st grade for 1 year. Man, those kids love to sing. Guess who doesn't love to sing? Me. Guess who would have loved this back when I was a 1st grade teacher, right? So what I'm going to do is literally just paste that SOL right into the details of the song. This is about Earth resources, and you can make it to the tune of any song in the world. They're suggesting Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. I love that. Maybe my students don't, but I bet they all know the tune of Jingle Bells. Generate. So now instead of doing like a really boring practice quiz or reading an article about Earth's resources, now we have a song that our whole classroom already knows the tune of, that we can sing together, and we can cover 4.8 because we know that's going to show up on our science SOL. Super, super fun. I will spare you my singing voice, but pretty cool. And when you have this stuff, you can copy it. If you're not happy with it, you can kind of amend it at the bottom. You can send a message and say, hey, change this, change that. Send it to your kids, send it to parents, however you talk to parents, email it, share it with teachers, do whatever you need to do. So that's just one of the really great tools on Magic School. I hope when you get a chance, you go in there and look at everything they have to offer. It's a really powerful tool, and I would be glad to answer more questions about that at the end. But I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen right now, and I'm going to pass on to our next presenter.
Thanks, Janie. And I believe next we have up Tammy. So Tammy, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, that would be great.
All right. Okay. Sorry. It's asking me. You're right. Zoom is asking me for different things now.
No worries. Take your time, Tammy, while
Right.
you're working on getting your screen up. It all looked different for me too. But I'd love to hear in the chat if any of you are using Magic School already, and some of the really fun ways that you're using it, because it's pretty powerful, and I love going to conferences and hearing how other teachers are using it. It's, everyone's so creative, the ways that they are using it in the classroom. Oh, you learned about it at the Tech Summit. Love that. Yes, definitely share Magic School with your teachers for sure.
Okay. It is not letting me. It is telling me I have to exit out and come back in. So I can do it if I leave Zoom.
Oh, we see your screen.
You can see it?
Yeah, it's on team strategies. Is that what we should be seeing?
It's still my
Uh,
screen.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So
My bad.
I'm happy to share.
No,
if
I
it's really-
can't. It's telling me I have to exit out and come back in.
No worries, Tammy. If you're good, I'll just continue sharing my screen and you can talk and let me know what you
Okay.
want. If I need to
All
open
right,
up
I'm
something.
sorry.
No, not at
No
all. It
worries.
happens. We've all been there.
Okay, so I approach this as I've been out of the classroom a while and I have been a librarian at all three levels. So I approach this as a librarian and how maybe you could have support and help from your library. So the things that I have found that work at all three levels, but even high schoolers really love this stuff too, is anything that does, as Jamie said, and Lindsey, that encourages movement and teamwork. They love working with their friends, but I also think it's important to let them have some ownership of what they're doing and what they're reviewing. So I think the library is really great and can help with stations. So if you let your librarian know, like, these are the 4 things they're really struggling with, it might be fun, sometimes a change of location, just leaving your classroom and going into the library to do a few stations can be really beneficial and help them focus a little bit better. And I know most librarians, I don't know any that wouldn't be happy to help pull something like that together. I love, love, love doing breakouts. I love making breakout boxes. And I like the digital ones, but I have also found that the kids really love the hands-on breakout boxes with the locks. And again, I have teachers come in and ask, can you do a breakout box with just 2 locks on it to focus on these 2 tasks that they need help with? And they want to get in that box so bad. So that's really a fun one to do with them. Sometimes I just have multiple tasks for them to do together in groups, but just one breakout box with several locks on it, and they have to work together to get into that one box. And then, of course, if you sweeten it with some candy inside, that's always fun too.
Tammy, there's a question in the chat, a breakout
Oh,
box,
yeah.
question mark. So it might be someone who's not super familiar with it. Maybe you could just
Yeah.
expand on it.
So if you're familiar with just a breakout room where you just have to solve little puzzles or riddles to move forward out of a room like a breakout room, well, you can, there's a company called Breakout EDU, and they make boxes and you can put locks on those boxes, all different kinds of locks, and you can set the locks to be whatever combination you want, and then sync that up with a task so that the students have to solve a task to get the combination to the lock. And I've accumulated a lot of different things. So I can do any sort of lock. So we do lots of different tasks and activities to help kids get that combination for the locks and stuff. You can make your own breakout boxes. Just order locks. There's a little piece that you do need so that you can put the locks on, but you can buy tackle boxes from Walmart. Anything that you could get that has holes in it for you to put a lock in, you can turn into a breakout box. Some pencil cases even have that place where you could lock zippers together. So you can turn anything into that breakout box, but it doesn't matter what's inside the box, they want inside. So that's always really good. And I'm happy to, I don't know, Lindsey, are our emails on this?
Yes, everyone's
okay.
email was on the intro slide.
Okay, and I'm happy to answer any questions or share anything that I might have, because I have done several breakouts. So that's always a really fun review thing. Scavenger hunts are fun. You can put things, again, I'm coming from the library standpoint, but I've seen people use different parts of the school and let kids go in groups, but you can put things in various parts of the library and have students go around. You can put task cards around and let them work in small groups going around the library. Cahoots, of course, are fun, and we all know about Cahoots, but I think it's even more beneficial if you actually have the students create the Kahoot. And you could even you can go as big or small as you want. You could have your class create questions and share that Kahoot with your neighbor teacher, and then have their students create a review Kahoot for your students. Just to have the students have some ownership in that review. Along those same lines, I have seen teachers do round robin reviews. So almost like those progressive dinners where you go from house to house and have appetizers at one house and dinner at one house and dessert at another. You could do that with all of the biology teachers or all of the third grade classes, and just have each room be a different review focus. And I don't know, this was just something that I thought of reading and using the library, but reading comprehension maybe for English, kind of a choose your own, but it's really, you could do a slideshow, but a small passage and then answer the question. And if you get it right, you go to the next question or the next location. If it's not right, it's a dead end, you have to go back. And really anything with movement, everything seems better when they get to get up and move around, I think. So when I looked around on eMediaVA, I tried to pick something. I went something really out of my wheelhouse and I decided to do math. And early elementary, I found some really cute electric company math videos that I think are great. I think one of the things that eMedia is great for is they have shorter videos. And I think those are great for station activities. You know, sit and watch this short video, answer this question. But these videos were really cute for younger elementary. And then I found, I thought these were great, Doodles and Digits for upper elementary. And it is certainly math and they're short videos, but it's really real life videos. And I thought that was really great. Like, you know, in a bakery, in a restaurant, they're using math. And you could watch those videos and have a couple comprehension questions or tasks for them to do. And then for high school, I found two that I thought were really great for specific topics. And you would just do a big search for whatever it is you might be doing. There are a lot of algebra ones, there were geometry ones, and then another series called Tune Up, which I thought was also really good for some math. And this was everything. It wasn't just math. You could do a whole bunch of different things. But I thought those were good too for some station activities. And then this is one, I'm throwing it out there because I don't know how many people use Gale resources, Gale database. It's not, dang it. I don't know how many people use Gale databases, but there is one called Peterson's Test Prep, and this is just for secondary, for high school, but it's really fabulous because it's got all kinds of test prep for anything SOL you're looking for, but also anything AP, which is, it's not only SOL season, it's AP season for high schools. So anything like that, they have some really great practice tests. But then I also thought if your county has purchased Pear Deck or Nearpod, those are really good interactive ways to review with your kids too.
Thank you, Tammy. And so is this link, is it just because I don't have an account?
It's because yes, I'm sorry. And I should have thought of that, but I thought I was going to be sharing. But again, if you have the Gale databases for research and stuff, you know you have it. But it is something to ask about. If you could, high school level, if you could get the Peterson's Test Prep, because that's a really great database.
Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. And you can see the resources that she mentioned are all linked here, as well as the strategies. So I hand it over to Aubrey. Aubrey, if you want to try to share your screen, you're welcome to. If you'd like me to continue to share, I'm happy to. I know Aubrey's also going to talk about movement in the classroom. We're all obviously big fans of that. While Aubrey is getting set up, I want to just remind you, we are going to give away, raffle off an Amazon gift card at the end. So make sure you stick around until we're done, because we'll use that link and just do a random drawing for one person. Aubrey, are you able to share? Did that work?
I think so. Do you see it with my name on it? Let's see. Oops.
Yes, I see the screen with your name.
Okay. All right. And you can hear me. Okay. All right.
I think it might still be my screen though.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me go forward or try to click it.
Let me stop sharing and
Did
see.
it
Sorry.
change?
Okay, try now, Aubrey.
All
Oh,
right.
wait. You just have to click at the top. Never mind. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay. All right. It says movement and games for y'all, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right, all right. So, one of the biggest things that I love to do, and this is when I was in the classroom, now that I'm in, is taking advantage of the weather, going outside, doing things that we haven't been able to do most of the year because it's been cold or rainy or wet or whatever. And getting outside and using that time to review. One of the things that I did when I was in history was doing kickball, class versus class, where you have your questions. They have to answer a question before they go up to kick. Most of the kids, you don't have to have a whole lot of skills to play kickball. So most people, and then if I had somebody that absolutely was not going to play, I let them keep score, be an umpire, or do something, so, or ask the questions even. To the other students to give them an opportunity to participate. But outside is definitely one of my favorite things. Stations. We did, I want to say we started this about 2 or 3 years ago. We went through and these are just some pictures of it. I got for 7th grade, we got the English teachers, the SPED English teacher, the reading specialist, the instructional coach, myself. It was 7 of us in all. And we set up 7 different stations that were review. Some of them you just had to read a short passage and answer like 5 questions. Some of them you had to, like you can see, you had to match like these prefixes and suffixes outside as a group. And each teacher had a station that they manned and they had the answers to it. And the students would get, if they answered it within the time periods, we might have like 5 minutes at each station, the kids would get a Ziploc bag with puzzle pieces. That's what this 4th picture is right here, or the 3rd and 4th pictures in the middle. They had the puzzle pieces. And then at the end, once they had completed all the stations, they would all run back, put the puzzle together, and it would give them a code. And if we had 7 groups, there would only be 3 or 4, excuse me, boxes. So it was a speed thing as well as a, I'm sorry, as well as a, an activity for them to do. And when we put the kids in groups, we paired them up intentionally. So you had, some stronger students and some students that needed a little more help. And they were all mixed up from different classes. So nobody felt like, oh, I'm in this group or that group or this class or that class. Everybody was kind of all mixed together. And of course we had put some money in together and bought treats. And then this last picture over here, it started raining the first time we did this. And the last block we had to bring inside the library, which is also a benefit of being in the library because we had the big space where we could still do I'm sorry, the groups. That's outside is my favorite. Also inside, you could do bingo. We've done that this year. One of the things with doing bingo is making sure that the answers are for everybody. And what I mean by that is when we did it, some kids thought I would have like a definition up there, and they thought that they had to just find it on their sheet and not say anything. And so the kids that didn't know kind of started zoning out. But if they're saying the answer out loud, then everybody's getting the review and everybody's getting the opportunity to play. And they really enjoyed that. also, like, I call them escape rooms here, what she was saying, like the breakout boxes, we've done a lot of that using the library space, and the teachers would just say, I need to focus on this or that. And usually they'll just give me like a batch of questions, and I have some basic like forms and everything that I can just put those questions into to make these escape rooms. So the kids will go around from group to group, and they have to do it for mastery. They have to get, it may be 4 questions at that station. They have to get all 4 questions right for them to get the code to go to the next station. So, and they're working in groups, they're teaching each other, they're helping each other. And I love when kids can get up and move around and do those things, like I said, that we haven't maybe done all year. This is that time to get them engaged and get them busy, instead of just sitting there and just trying to, review and look at something. The last thing I have on here, and this is something that's, I would say, a pet peeve for me, is when people are like, okay, I'm done testing. I'm not doing anything else. Because being in the library, I see how many movies get checked out at the end of the year. And there's so many things online, and these are just some examples of things that I have used from eMediaVA that can keep stuff going. You're still teaching, they're still using the stuff, but the kids, it doesn't feel like work anymore. For instance, this the first one, the fantasy baseball, you can make that as hard or easy as you want to. It says grade 6 through 8 on there, but you're going through and you are looking at the stats in baseball, like their batting average. It shows you how to calculate like their on-base percentage, how many at-bats they have, how many home runs, like all these things, and have the kids try to use that math to try to stack a team. See who would they pick if they could make their own team, and how people pick things like that. The math in basketball, that lessons on eMediaVA, and that works with how to use geometry to calculate the perfect free throw. And then maybe you could even, after the kids figure that out, use the math, figure it out, maybe you could take them outside, or if you could see if you could get some gym time to kind of practice that. The baseball science, the one at the top, that has goes over like the 3 laws of motion in baseball and how you can apply it to real life situations. And all this stuff is so good because it's not just ideas, but it also has different like activities. Like it may have little assessments, videos, printouts, things that you can use with the kids. And it's just a lot of neat stuff on there to keep the learning going, and not just quit once SOLs happen, which I think sometimes we're tempted to do. And that's pretty much all my stuff.
Thank you so much, Aubrey. And finally, we have Toymika. So if you want to share your screen, Toymika, go ahead. If you'd like me to share mine and click through the slides, you're welcome to do it that way. So just, great. And while she's getting set up, Aubrey, thank you so much. Those were some wonderful resources. The resources she mentioned on that last slide are linked in the slide deck for you. And also, I love the idea about just getting outside. Like I was huge on stations, like it's pretty much what we did every day, but never took it outside. So I love that idea for a game. And then you showed us too, like, hey, you had to pivot and how easy it is to move it inside. So thank you. So I will hand it over to Toymika.
Hello, everybody. I'm Toymika Raymond. I'm going to just go over some test strategies that you can use before, during, and after the testing. Some of them are basic, such as before the test. Of course, get a good night's sleep, go to bed early so your brain is rested and ready. A lot of these strategies I also share with parents. I send it through the messaging, Class Dojo, whatever you have, and I send it out like every day. Of course, attendance is important as well. Eat a healthy breakfast, choose something filling like eggs, fruit, whole grains, not just sugar. Sometimes I've had fruit in my classroom when they come in late and they don't have anything to eat, just something to put in their stomachs. And of course, be positive, say to yourself, I got this. A good attitude helps your brain do its best. So those are just some before strategies just to get your kids ready and kind of amped for the test. course, during the test, read all your directions carefully. Don't rush. Make sure you know what the question is asking. Sometimes work backwards, look at your answers, and then go back and look at the question to eliminate some of your answers, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And of course, use your strategies, underline key words in the question, cross out wrong answers, reread the passage if needed, use scratch paper to work out math problems. And using these strategies and having anchor charts around your classroom during this time and just going over these over and over again can also be helpful just to remind kids, because I know once they get the SOL, everything has to be cleared out. Also checking your answers, check the question again after finding your answer, double check to be sure it makes sense. But I do always advise not to do it too much, because sometimes some kids can kind of overthink it and they may have the right answer, but they're just kind of overthinking themselves. So I always tell them double check it once and then move on. Use all the time that you're given. Don't rush to finish early. Take your time, do your best, because I know a lot of kids want to hurry up, get the testing going so they can have, like what she mentioned earlier, that free time to themselves to get on the phone, watch movies, sometimes just sleep. Flag and come back. If a question is tricky, skip it and come back to it later if it's possible for them. And then after the test, also review your work. If time allows, go back, make sure you didn't skip any questions. You went back to any questions that you skipped. You didn't make any careless mistakes. And of course, when you finish, take a deep breath. You did your best, and that's what matters the most. So, once it's done, I always say once it's done, it's done. So just take your time, take that deep breath. So I put some fun and effective ways to review SOL testing strategies with mostly elementary students before the test, but I think they're applicable to older kids as well. So they have the test prep strategy puzzle. So what they're doing is you're creating a game, a puzzle where students match a scenario to the correct strategy. So for example, if you're stuck on a question, that would be on the wall, and then they have to find the answer to that. And usually it's like almost like give them opportunity to walk around. So if this says you're stuck on a question, go find the answer, which is skip and come back later. So it's just a fun way for them to practice their test prep strategies before they actually take the assessment. Strategy scoop or gallery walk. You just place in strategy questions or scenarios at different desks around the room, and they walk around with their clipboards and write their responses or match them to the correct strategies. And then at the end of the activity, we all come together and discuss, why did you pick that answer? Why is that a great strategy? So that's just a fun way to go over the SOL testing strategies, besides having just the anchor charts or just repeatedly saying it to them, or they watching a PowerPoint. I just thought it was a fun way to review that. Some eMedia resources for testing strategies. I thought these two activities were pretty good. And I don't know if it is showing on my screen. Yes. Okay. So this is just a quick video, and it also has a resource attached to it where you can practice with your kids those metacognitive strategies, basically having them learn how to think about their own thinking. So I thought that was a nice video that you can watch. It goes from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. And the other one was tune up using reading strategies, skills on demand. This is actually an activity that they can do. They can launch it, and it also has a printable resource that you can do with your kids where they fill it out while they're watching the video and looking at the different scenarios. So I thought this was a cool resource as well. And solving two-step problems for math, classroom connections. It's just talking about solving those word problems and the different strategies that they use. And this is an activity also on eMedia, and it has the support materials here where the kids can follow along and actually solve it. And then it explains to them what strategy they use to solve the word problem. So I thought that was a really good one as well. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Thank you. All right. And that was the last one for me.
Thank you so much, Jamika. I love that you focused on a lot of ways that we can empower our students to do really well on the test. So feel free, everyone, if that's really something you're hitting. I'm sure Tamika wouldn't mind if you made copies of those slides and use them directly with your students. She's already done the work of making them look so great. So feel free to use those slides. And I love the idea of just reviewing the metacognition with them as well, the thinking strategies. That's not something I really did. But man, that would have been powerful even for high school kids to review how to take the test, like in some of those different strategies. So it's always such a good reminder. So thank you. We're out of time. So I just want to hit briefly on, so all of our presenters kind of touched on some eMediaVA resources. So there's some slides here, but I have linked to, there's a QR code and it's linked to our SOL review collections. This is by no means all encompassing, but I have on our eMediaVA blog, which it looks like I closed that out, pulled together some of my favorite collections for review. So you might not know this, but Janie and I have done a lot of work to create collections that are based on SOL strands. So you can see here as on the elementary side, social studies, but science review collections, where we've gone through and curated some of our favorite resources for different SOL strands. So we have scientific and engineering practice, plants, animals, matter. So you could pull a video from this to review, but I know someone in the beginning mentioned, whatever you can use to send home to parents or guardians at home. We've already created all of these collections, so it's just good for you to know that they exist. If you want to send some of these links home for parents or guardians at home, we have ELA. Learn and Grow and Continue to Know are wonderful. They featured teachers during COVID at home teaching lessons, so they follow the SOLs to a T. So those are great to know about. And Let's Learn is a similar idea, but from the New York Department of Education. So secondary, we have full interactives that cover the standards from beginning to end. So these are great for you to post and forget about, but students can go through and review themselves. They're going to click through interactives and they are going to teach the exact same information that you have taught during the year. So you can see VA US, all of our social studies, our science are here. But for example, here's some earth science interactives. We have erosion or deposition, millions and billions. It again has all of the actual content students had to know. And you can see those for ELA and math here as well. So this is linked for you. I know that was kind of a lot very quickly, but just wanted you to know that we've already created a lot of collections that hopefully make it really easy for you to use. So thank you so much. We hope that you found this beneficial. This is the QR code links to this slide deck. But again, I will email out the link to the slide deck and the Zoom recording tomorrow. So don't feel like you have to grab it right now. Again, I will email all of this information out to you. And Janie, thank you, did the work behind the scenes of doing a random generator for our Amazon gift card winner, and that is Alan Scroggins. So Alan, if you want me to use a different email than what you registered for, please drop your email in the chat. But if not, I will just use the email that you use for registration. So again, thank you so much. I will also send oh goodness, a certificate of attendance to everyone tomorrow with all of the resources as well. So you will get that. But again, thank you so much for joining. We hope you found this helpful. Everyone's emails are linked here. So I'm sure my fellow presenters wouldn't mind if you had a question and wanted to follow up with one of them individually, please feel free. But again, thank you. I will go ahead and stop the recording. If you have any questions, I'll hang out for a minute, but otherwise, have a great night and best of luck this SOL season.